Hmm? You don't use what? Well, you have this yours.
I get it from this one. This one is not nice version. Something is doing. And I buy it.
Okay. Look like we this one. I can see myself. Turn the other way.
But high enough.
Catch me.
You need more light, no right?
I can edit it so you can see the chairs and all that stuff.
I don't think you have to.
No?
You ain't got to.
Okay, we good. Yeah, man, we good. Thank you all. All right.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and I can add it over to the end here.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, thank you all so much. All right. Very good. Namastu family. Namaste means I bow to the divinity within you. My name is Pastor Dr. Cleveland W. Enius III, also known as Kahun Anku Sarah. As always, it is our pleasure to welcome those of you who may join us through this recording of today's service here at the Holy Coptic Church of the Black Messiah. We encourage you to come down to the Holy Coptic Church of the Black Messiah here in Nassau, Bahamas, any Sunday, as we have our weekly Sunday services. And of course, you can join us online every Sunday at 2 p.m. or every Wednesday at 6 p.m. as we are with our international branch led by our Basesh, or our Coptic Pope, Rev. Dr. A.J. Vamo. For those of you who didn't make it down to Woods Alley off of Woods Alley off of Wolf Road, again we say Namastu.
Namaste.
And we are very grateful to have you here, as the Holy Coptic Church of the Black Messiah is always grateful to have those who are willing to take the time to learn about their true faith, their true religious identity. Today we want to talk about, or ask the question, based on what we are seeing in society, and I think all of us are seeing it, but everybody has maybe a different perspective. When I say everybody, I mean different churches or different people or different mindsets may have a different perspective. But the question we're asking today is, are we seeking salvation or are we seeking acceptance? Are we seeking salvation or are we seeking acceptance? And this is a very important question, because I can ask, and we can have a conversation today, so feel free to speak, don't be shy. If we look at today's society, we could always talk about the world, but we are in the Bahamas, right? Are we in the Bahamas happy with what we are seeing in the country today? For the most part. No. Is there anybody who is completely happy? Just so we... No. So generally speaking, we have a concern, correct? It's fair to say that, yes?
Yes.
And I want to preface what I'm saying by making it clear that I'm not attacking anybody. I'm not trying to shame nobody. I'm not doing none of that. But as we listen, for example, all week they've been talking about the funds from the Carifta Games, right? The funds from the Jubilee Games. And I'm saying what I'm saying because I'm not having a conversation on the political aspect of what we're talking about. I ain't getting into which party is in and which party, is not in, because that's a whole other conversation, right? I'm just talking about the conditions that allow for these things to happen. that allow for budgets to be ignored, that allow for funds to be spent, you know. Well, they ain't called me.
I mean, you ain't get
That's
that.
right. I didn't get
I might have been, I'd have to preach for something else this month. I'd be like, well.
Lord, give you the Lord. Look at God. All the blessings
You know
flow.
what I'm saying? Look at our building. You know, another place to come from the Lord. You know? But I'm laughing, not because it's not a serious situation. And of course, that's only one thing going on. We always talk about crime. We always talk about, you know, these statistics about the women. 1 in 4 women, you know, are being abused in the home. There's been a spike in child molestation, 87% spike in child molestation. You understand what I'm saying? I look at these children here today, and it really disturbs me to know that we live in a society where these things are being talked about so casually, and you're not seeing any real accountability. You're not seeing heads rolling
Nope.
Nope.
where they should be rolling.
Yep.
You understand? And that speaks to the environment, or that speaks to the actual conditions that we as a people are in. And we as a people are not ultimately seeking the salvation of the Most High. We claim to be a Christian nation. We claim to love God, as we say. We claim that we're Bible-fearing, that we are, you know, people who are ultimately doing right by the Most High. We claim that. And I do think that there are many people who are well-intentioned. I think people do want to do what's best. But I also now have to ask the question, if what's doing best is not popular, are you still willing to do it?
Yes.
If the best thing to do is not the popular thing to do, are we still willing to do it? Because oftentimes we love to talk about Jesus. We love to talk about this Messiah, this African Messiah that we talk about in the Holy Coptic Church, this Yahshua Christ. And we would love to say that in the time of the Messiah, hey, if I was there in those days, I would be following them. I'd be one of the 12 disciples. I would be right there. They'd be calling my name in the book. And Uncle gave the bread to Jesus. Jesus, the last 2 pieces of bread. What you can do with this? Wow, he made $5. And Uncle was amazed. You know what I mean? Like that's how we feel about, because I know that's how I felt when I was reading it growing up. Why them people wasn't listening to Jesus?
No.
Oh my God. They didn't believe he could heal the person? Oh man. I can't believe they like that. You know? But in this day and time, unfortunately, many of us are not those people. Because see, when the Messiah came amongst the people 2,000 to 3,500 years ago, depending on your calendar, he didn't look the way they expected him to look. He didn't have the status they expected him to have. You understand? He didn't function the way that many people thought he would then, and I'm here to tell you that it's the same thing now. Because many of us have been programmed to believe that what the images and the actual scenes and the scenarios that we've grown up in Sunday school and in church learning about, that is how the Messiah is going to come. That the Messiah, he's going to be robed. First of all, he's going to be a white man in white clothes.
Of course.
You understand? The trumpet is going to blow, and we're all going to hear this one trumpet all over the world, and he's going to come down and it's going to be a time of rejoicing for some and weeping and gnashing of teeth for others. Yes, and we've been saying this Charles Taze Russell with the Jehovah Witness said it in the 1920s or 1930s.
The
Mormons said it.
2000.
Millennium, Eric. Jesus coming, millennium.
He was
That was
reach.
it.
2000 was supposed to be the end of the world.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Here we are in 2024. 24 years after the end of the world.
My goodness.
Now what?
Now the grifter money getting deep.
That's right.
Now the people buying cars with the money what they're supposed to be having the Jubilee games. These are the reports. Now our women are being abused in the homes. Now our children are being abused. Where's this Savior? I'm not making fun of the real and living Messiah. I'm not making fun of the Most High. I'm saying somebody stepped in and gave us false expectations.
Yeah.
Somebody stepped in and made us feel that looking like ourselves, when we dress in these garbs, and when we say certain words like namastu, and we're putting the right arm over the left, and we're bowing, and we're saying certain chants, and people are like, what's that? That's kind of weird. I never seen that before. Not recognizing that everything that we're doing now is actually the weird thing.
Yes.
See, if you go to China today, how many Gregs you think you can find in China?
None. That'd be a European.
We'd like to
That'd be
introduce you
foreigner.
to our head of
Greg one.
Right?
security, Greg. For a Chinese person, that ain't.
No. No.
You understand what I'm saying? You expect here Li, Wong, Ji, you know? You expect certain names to come. But with an African, you could hear a name like Greg. And that's not, yeah, Precious. That's not a funny thing because we hope. We have taken on the names, we've taken on the images, we've taken on the spirit of the Canaanite, of those who are not us.
That's right.
And the reality of the situation is we don't understand what's happening to us. See, in Revelation 12 and 9, the devil is sent down, cast out. That's a very important point. Because if God in heaven cast the devil out, why are you forgiving the devil? Anybody who's telling you to forgive your enemies must be your enemies.
That's right.
Amen.
The Most High did not say, you know what, devil? You was one of my angels. You made a mistake. Go sit in the corner.
Time up.
Time out. Michael can deal with you. They didn't do that. Huh? How much time, how much fruit they say Adam and Eve take?
One.
Well, you couldn't give me another chance?
I didn't even eat all of it.
You didn't know
One bite.
One bite, just like the Apple computer. One bite. Oh, you couldn't give me one more chance? You couldn't let me,
Atone for it.
you know what I mean?
Just one.
They were.
You know, you got fast for a week, don't eat nothing, don't eat no more fruit. Nope. Kicked out.
Oh. Sorry.
Kicked out.
That you must forgive the devil.
But you gotta forgive the devil who been putting his foot everywhere on you. Who been putting his knee on your neck. Who been choking the life out of you now for generation after generation. You're supposed to forgive that devil. More importantly, you ain't just supposed to forgive that devil. You supposed to want to be like the devil. That's why we asking, are we seeking salvation or are we seeking acceptance? See, this was the question ultimately that we talk about. We all familiar with Cain and Abel. So Cain and Abel, these are the sons of Adam and Eve. And in Genesis chapter 4, there's a ritual, there's an initiation. And Cain and Abel are supposed to bring forth that which is necessary to be accepted by this group called Elohim, what they call God. And as we know how the story goes, Abel brings what he's supposed to bring, and he's accepted. And Cain brings not what he's supposed to bring, he brings what he wants to bring.
Not the best.
Not the best. And even in that instance, these guardian angelic hosts, because they're like our parents. You understand? If you had to cook a meal for the family reunion, your particular, we have potluck. You bring in the rice. And you bring the rice half cooked, it's sticky.
Community.
The bottom, yeah, community rice, right? The bottom going up, you ain't put no salt in it. It just, like, what are we doing? Right? They're like, look, man, go cook that rice again, please. Bring it back. And if you bring it back and you do it the way you're supposed to do it, then we could accept it. Right? Well, this is what was happening in part to Cain, as he was ultimately giving of what was not necessary ultimately for him to be accepted. And so in the batter sheaf, and this is in reference to, let's go to Genesis chapter 4, around verse 6. I might read just from verse 1 to verse 7. Right? What type of church are we?
Teaching church.
We are a teaching church. So we're going to slow down. We're going to look at these verses because we want to know why in this country that's supposed to be a Christian country, people say God live here.
So?
People say God live here.
Which God?
No,
Well,
he's
you on the beach? You on the beach or you where?
Vacation there.
Yeah,
Chilling on the
We
beach.
ain't waking.
No, he ain't waking.
You gotta be careful what you say. And Adam knew Eve his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain. This is Genesis 4:1, and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord. And she again bare his brother Abel, and Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. So one is keeping animals, one is keeping the produce. Yes?
Yes.
And in process of time it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord. So if he had some cabbage, he had some tomatoes, he had some eggplant, he had some, onions, whatever. He brought that, right? And Abel, he also brought the firstlings of his flock. So if he had some goat, he brought some goat. He brought some chicken. He brought some turkey. He brought what he was growing, right? And the fat thereof. And the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering. So when Cain brought his offering, they said they never say the Lord had respect for it. They just say he brought it, right? But unto Cain, verse 5, but unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect. And Cain was very wroth. He was very angry, and his countenance fell. What is this countenance?
Face.
His face. You could tell if someone is upset, right? You don't walk up to somebody and they don't look happy. They look like something disturbing them. What's wrong with you? That was Cain. If thou doest what? Well.
Well.
Don't just do what you want to do. Do it well. So now, this is the question we have for the people in our country today. We're doing a lot of things, but are we doing it well? Yeah, we have school every day, but are we educating the children well? We're going to school today, but are we participating and learning the way as students? Are we doing it well? We having children, but are we raising the children well? We going to church, but are we reading the scriptures well? Are we applying what we are learning well? Because the answer to that question is based on the result of what we're doing. We could say what we want to say, but the results ultimately tell a different story. The children are failing in school. They're getting molested at home. Getting beat up at home.
To them, the streets is better.
You understand? And we could go on, and I'm not saying it's like that for every situation, but it's too much to not address. Right? So, in verse 7 of Genesis chapter 4, it says, if thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? So now we have the opportunity to be accepted by the Most High. Now the problem we're having in this country is we don't know the difference between the Most High and the devil. See, when the devil was cast out, the warning was given. Woe be unto the seas, woe be unto the earth.
Yep.
This devil is coming, and this devil is going to deceive the whole world. So how does the devil deceive the whole world? By saying I'm the devil?
No.
By putting up a big sign that says devil over here, and then all the churches say don't go over there, that's the devil. That's not deception.
Nope.
What would be the best way for the devil to deceive people who are looking for God?
Be like God.
Be like God, or pretend to be God.
Pretend.
And so this is what the devil has done. Not me saying it. 2 Corinthians chapter 11 verses 13 to 15. If we go there for a second, this devil comes to earth and pretends to be something that he is not. Pretends to be a minister of righteousness. And he wasn't by himself. And this is a verse that we go to often.
Yes.
Because I never want us to forget what we're up against. 2 Corinthians chapter 11, starting at verse 13. For such are false apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into the apostles of Christ.
That's right.
So there are people who are false apostles, there are people who are deceitful workers, who are transforming themselves into the apostles of Christ. And no marvel, you ain't got to marvel at it. It's no wonder, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. So some people say, I was about to die, I saw the light. You may have been seeing Satan.
Which one?
You know what I'm saying? Huh? Verse 15, therefore it is no great thing if his ministers also be transformed as the ministers of righteousness, whose end shall be according to their works. So now all of the statistics now we see coming over the news, this is the ends that is according to their works.
That's right.
Huh? Because there's a way that seems right. Proverbs, let's go to Proverbs 14. See, we got thousands of churches in this country today. And people will say, go to the church of your choice, and once you've done that, you've done well. And that's a start. Yes? At least trying. But when you get there, don't just sit up in there and act like a chair or act like a doorknob. Ask questions and use your mind and think, because you could be in the house of Satan.
Yes.
Not me saying it.
Show thyself approved.
Study to show thyself approved. Proverbs 14:12. There is a way which what?
Seem right.
Seemeth right. See, it seemed right because it says church. It say God. It say Jesus. Huh? It say heaven. It say hell. It say Bible. It say communion. It say all of the different things the church is supposed to say. There's a way that seemeth right unto who? Unto a man. See, if you think like a man, you can't discern between that which is and that which isn't. Because you weren't created as a man. You weren't created as a woman. You were created in the image and after the likeness of God.
That's right.
Now can God or can the Elohim, can the natural Elohim, can they see? Can they discern between what is evil and what is good? Can they do it? Yes, they can.
Yes.
But if you think like a man, if you think like a forgetful person, if you think like somebody who doesn't take the time to actually look at the scriptures and study to show yourself approved and actually divide the scriptures so that you could actually see what's being taught. In the words of my friends when I was in school, you can get swing. No? You can get swing like if you was on a playground. There is a way which seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. So we can't listen to the news and hear all the money getting thief, and all the women getting beat, and all the children getting molested, and the infrastructure falling apart, and people sending voice notes from the other islands saying the electricity off and the water off. Why is all? Again, this ain't a political commentary right now, because this is happening on both sides. It's bigger than politics. You understand? The problem in this country is the first place we go to fix everything is politics. And the universe has said to us that, no, the first thing you have to address is religion, or else sell wealth. The first institution built by the Most High was what? Not the church. The family. So if the families aren't in order, how could the church be in order? How could the government be in order? How could the schools be in order? How could the neighborhood be in order? How could anything be in order if the family is not in order? And why isn't the family in order? Because we're following ways that seem right. Because the popular society tells us what a family is supposed to look like, we just follow along. You got this war between men and women going on now. Huh? Men and women, black men and women, believe that it's okay to be at odds with each other. And who's doing that? Who is actually promoting this war of the genders? This war of the sexes? What is the outcome of that? Who suffers when that happens? The children suffer. Men need women and women need men. But we're not seeing that because we live in a society that is teaching us to be accepted by it and not accepted by the Most High. So this Cain, and in the original books of the Bible, it talks about his sister that they don't talk about, Aklamia. They are warned, just like we're being warned today. If you do it well, you will be accepted. But if you don't do it well, going back to Genesis chapter 4, see, because we've been taught that sin is some abstract concept. If you don't do what you're supposed to do, then you sin it. Right? That's right. Genesis 4:7, if thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? Won't you be accepted? If you do what you're supposed to do? If you actually get back on the path of righteousness, can't you get your families back in order? Can't you get the government back in order? Can't you get the schools back in order? Can't you get the communities back in order? We don't want to do it well. We want to be accepted by this society that's failing us. If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door, and unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. That's right. So sin is not merely a concept. Sin is a person. Let's read it from the Bereshith, the African book of Genesis, to see what this is really talking about. So this is not one God talking to one person. This is really a group of males and females whose image and likeness we were in. You understand? This is seen in Revelation 3:14, where it talks about the Amen, the beginning of the creation of God. So Amen was before God, not me. Revelation 3:14. There were heavenly hosts and there were earthly hosts. And the heavenly hosts were creating the earthly hosts. And they were creating them in their image and after their likeness. So when they're talking about this God in the Bible, they're talking about us. Not the Most High. God is not the Most High. Psalm 82 verse 6 says that you are all gods, but you're also children of the Most High. So God and the Most High is not the same thing. The problem is, we don't want to accept the responsibility of being Elohim. We don't want to accept the responsibility of actually being that which is responsible for what's taking place. We would love to sit back and say, ooh, the devil. The devil ain't write that budget. Sorry, the devil ain't ignore that budget. The devil ain't do that. We did that. You understand what I'm saying? We molesting these children. We beating up these women in the homes. You understand? We shooting on each other every couple of nights. Huh? It's us. But why is it us? Because we want to be accepted by a world that ultimately is not of the Most High. So this is what Cain and Abel were faced with. He says, don't you realize that if you would have merely put forth the best efforts in your free will meal offerings, you would not be so intensely filled with anger at this moment? Yet all hope of being accepted by us is not lost. You must merely work and prepare for another Sabbath or Shabbat free will meal offering, which we shall attend and put forth better efforts, wherein we shall accept your efforts and allow you to be approved for acceptance and readmittance into the University of Akit Aten, the Gan Eden, into the holy order of the Nazarites, namely the rite of the sacred societies, namely the Asarian Wasetian societies, holders of the rod and staff called Awas. So this is ultimately what whether you know it or not, you're seeking acceptance back into this university. Abraham was seeking acceptance into it. Moses was seeking acceptance into it. Jacob was seeking acceptance into it. All of these people we say we are respecting and want to know more about, they were seeking acceptance into this Garden of Eden, this university. You ever saw that video on Facebook where the parents trying to teach their son math? Johnny has 3 apples, and he gets 2 more. How many? You saw that one? Where she asked him first, what's 3 plus 2? He said 5. All right, cool. So if Johnny have 3 apples, and his friend gave him 2 more, how many he got? 12. She slapped him inside the head. Then the father, because I'm going back to this, the father comes and says, you can't beat the boy. You can't make him just understand, man. He came to him and he said, son, the answer is 5. Okay? The answer is 5. And then he went on to give him wrong answers after he told him what the answer is. Well, this was what was happening here. He was saying, just bring the offering, and we will accept you. We're telling you we're gonna accept you, right? But what does Cain and his sister do ultimately? Because they say if you refuse to change your ways and attitude, verse 43, and redo what must be done, you should know that your inner spiritual heart shall have been infected with the poisonous ways, desires, and words of the Luciferian order, headed by a Pep-Zuem, to the point that their adverse forces shall become aware of this. So in Matthew 24, have you ever read the verse where it says that people's hearts would be what?
Wax cold.
Wax cold. What does that mean? This is what this was talking about. If your heart is infected, it becomes waxed cold. We know that this term, waxed cold, in the Greek is what? Psycho. Go to your Strong's Concordance and look at that word, look at that phrase, and it'll tell you you have become a psycho. Once your heart has been waxed cold, and that word for psycho in the Greek, they'll say is soul. Right? But we understand that they use the same word for somebody who is mentally ill. You understand? So they're saying to this group, if you don't accept it, you're going to actually now, it says here, if the fallen ones learn of your negative attitude and continence. So how do we feel about ourselves as a people? I can tell you all some disturbing news. I ain't trying to rush no corn, but sometimes you have to mash corn to get through a sermon. How do we feel about ourselves? Okay, let me ask you another way. Do we have beauty supply stores in this country? So when you run out of gas, run out of food, run out of beauty. How do you run out of beauty? By accepting another standard as beauty. But that ain't the worst of it. There's something been plaguing me all week, so y'all can hear it today. Teaching this to the children at school. Someone sent a video. I've seen the videos before, but it just hit me this week. So ladies say, you know, in India, you go to a temple. I'm gonna read something for you all, because I don't want this to just be a sermon for any of us. I want you to leave here with something to think about. And there are many temples all throughout India, but they talk about this particular one. And they say that this is a story from 2023. They talk about a transnational hair trade. This ain't only in hair. This is just talking about hair in this particular instance. An Indian woman's tresses turn into a well-being project for a middle-class family. Okay. Hair has always been capital for the poor to sell to the rich. So these Indians, they're poor, but they're selling their hair to get rich. It says, for a Finn, hair extensions can be a way to show well-being, while for a South African, they can express wealth. In this article by journalist Aurora Lemmer, sociologist Rita Hogbacher talks about a society in which people feel the need to constantly improve themselves and change. So you were given hair, you were given image, you were given skin color, you were given that which would allow you to be accepted by who? The guardian angelic host, because you were what? Created in their image and after their likeness. So in order for us to actually be accepted by them, then we must at least keep the image and the likeness that they gave us, yes? Roughly speaking, there are three categories of hair extension. The cheapest is the synthetic, made of nylon, for example. The second highest quality is waist hair, which has been collected from combs and floor drains. The highest quality hair has been cut from a person's head. This means that the strands of hair are parallel and do not get tangled so easily. A significant percentage of this highest quality hair comes from a specific temple in India. The temple is called Venkatswara, which refers to one of the forms of Vishnu. Vishnu is one of the three principal deities of Hinduism. According to legend, Venkatswara was left with a bald patch on top of his head where he had been struck with an axe. One day, Venkatswara happened to meet the goddess Neela Deva, who cut her hair off and pressed it into his bald patch, sacrificing not only her hair, but her beauty. There are different versions of this legend, but according to one, Venkatswara promised to replace the woman's hair by giving her the sacrifices of his followers. The sacrifices of his followers. So hair collected from India is sent to Myanmar. From there, most of it goes to China. Still today, thousands of people give their hair to Venkatswara every day at the end of a production chain that reflects global hierarchies of power. A large portion of this hair ends up in Europe, including Finland. Then it goes on to say the poor sacrifice their most precious asset, and it talks about their hair. Now, what they're not telling you is, BBC ran a story on this, and they asked this lady, why are you cutting your hair? And she said, I must go to the temple to cut my hair because my husband is drinking, and my children have bad grades, and so I'm going to cut my hair and give it to the temple, and my husband should stop drinking, and my children should have good grades. So what did she just say? All of the negative energy that that's in her house, that's emanating through her husband, that's emanating through her children, she's saying, I'm carrying this in my hair, so I'm going to cut this hair, and I'm going to pass this energy on. It ain't me saying it, BBC said it. I sent all y'all the link afterwards if you want. And then that hair is taken and processed, and they talk about it going to China at A large part of it goes to Africa.
Yep.
A large part of it goes to the United States, and of course we know it comes here. And we take that energy and put it in our ears. It ain't even just women now. Okay? But why do we do it? To be accepted by a failing society. To be accepted by beauty standards. To be accepted into an order that we're not even aware we're being accepted into.
That's right.
What are we talking about? Cain was being warned. He said, listen, if these fallen beings, if they know about how you carrying on, they're going to send one from amongst themselves called Harmatia, the son of Apollo, to kneel and crouch like a crafty rattlesnake in anticipation of meeting you at the crossroads of Uruk, in order to bid you to sell your ba, your divine African soul. You know what the crossroads of Uruk is? That decision you're going to have to make as to whether you're going left or right. That's where the devil will meet you. You understand? And they say, when you sell your soul, this is the question we're asking, do we want to be accepted by this failing society, or do we want to be accepted by the Most High? If you accept it, if you sell your soul to the devil, it says, in exchange, you will be granted admittance moving from door to door or grade to grade within the Sheol Hades. The word school, say school. School. Say Sheol.
Sheol.
This word school and Sheol. I'm not saying don't go to school. Don't miss. Mommy, he said he's supposed to go to school. I didn't say that. This Sheol, this Hellenistic school, dominated by the underworld spirits of the dead and the personification of the evil, wherein he, the man of sin, or the man Zuen, this Harmatia, the son of Apolia, and his image and likeness as a beast-like people, shall be all you seek to emulate. So we take the bleachings. I saw a video of a gentleman in Jamaica.
Oh my God.
He's a bleach king.
That's the body.
He's topping on bleach and cream, and they got an umbrella over him because he can't take the sun no
Well,
more.
you know.
Why? I'm not getting on the brother personally, but I'm just saying, why is he doing that? I'm not getting on anybody personally, but why is that okay? Why is that being accepted? Because we have decided that we want to be accepted by a world that is run by a devil who came out of the heavens and did what? Deceived the whole world and made himself the pastor, and made himself the teacher, and made himself herself to the doctor, and made themselves the moral authority, made themselves government. You understand? Made themselves policy writers. Huh? Made themselves the people that we look to for help. Huh? This is what Cain was ultimately being warned about. And if you end up as a mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and physically siphoned student and inhabitant, so what do these forces do? They siphon us. You know what a siphon is? Like a straw? It's literally a straw. Imagine a straw in your head or your back or your heart, and they just suck in the energy out of you. Because that's what we do every time we praise their names. So we know Jesus was nowhere in the original scripture. There was no J sound. When you say Jesus, you're saying Jew, Zeus. Jupiter, Zeus. But we talk about that many times. So people call on Jesus all the time, but they're calling on these death forces. I'm not saying the Messiah, Yeshua Christ. But what other names do we call on repeatedly? Tomorrow is Monday. Oh, you mean Wednesday? Tuesday? Wednesday, Thursday, Friggins Day, Saturn's Day, Sunday. We're calling on these names. By calling on names, that's if the word Monday and Sunday and Tuesday ain't in your Bible.
No.
What name do they put? First day, second day, third day. They never gave no names.
No.
But we calling on the names that who gave us?
Yeah.
The devil gave us. I want to look into the stars and I want to talk about the planets. I want to go Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, Saturn. Where are those names coming from? These devils. These adverse forces. And if you don't say it like that, you can't move through their schools. If you're the child who puts first day on your paper, you're not going to get the points that other children who put Monday put on their paper. You understand? And so this is how we're caught up in this cycle of not doing it well, like Cain. So what did Cain and them do? It says, and if you end up as a mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and physically siphoned student, so you're giving your energy away, of the order of the Luciferians, please know and remember always that you will become those who we will forever record as black devils, caught up under the blinding amber light and smokeless fire, which will cause you and your descendants to betray your very Melaninite genealogy and divine origins, making you fully disagreeable by nature, never being led to do wickedness again, but instead becoming a willing purveyor of deviance and decadence. You leading the way now. You leading the way to decadence. You leading the way to confusion. But after they heard all of this from Gabriel, it said it fell on deaf ears. As the female group Aklamia and the male group Cain Kabil withdrew themselves from the gathering and went off as a group to the open field area where they had previously spoken to Nakash to see if his offer still remained, and if so, what they needed to do. And at that point, Nakash approached and told them, you will have to make the ultimate sacrifice of initiation. So you want to know why the murders? Huh? You want to know why the chaos? People are making these sacrifices for what they think is wealth, for what they think is prosperity. He said, you will have to make the ultimate sacrifice of initiation, and sacrifice or be the first from amongst your people to take power over and kill or sacrifice another for the sake of wealth and fame. I got a good friend who's a lawyer, and sometimes when he sits with his clients, he's a defense lawyer. He said, okay, you tell me what happened. Why did you kill the fella? I don't know. I see what you mean. He said, you don't know. The fella said, he don't know. He was drunk, I was drunk. This is real. This is what's happening. You understand what I'm saying? Something has a hold of us, and we're not trying to figure out how to do church well, school well, government well, family well. And so we end up in a situation where we're not seeking salvation, because to seek salvation means, yes, you're going to have to make a sacrifice, but the sacrifice is not killing somebody. The sacrifice is self-sacrificing. It means you're going to have to do what's best for the whole. It means you're going to have to stop depending on people who don't really care about you and start opening your own businesses and start supporting each other and create your own beauty standards. Where's our natural, maybe still springing up here and there, where you got the natural beauty salons. And sisters, I ain't getting on y'all. Believe me, I ain't beating y'all up. We're talking about the fact that you're under attack and don't even realize sometimes that you're under attack. As we men are under attack. We believe as men that wearing your pants hanging down below your waist is a fashion statement. Not realizing that that came out of the prisons where you were saying you was available to get bent over. It's the nicest way I can say it in church. I want you to know what I said. Huh? These young brothers out here believing that they got to have a gun and they got to kill somebody to be a man. These young brothers who apologizing to their male friends because they got to hang out with their girlfriend tonight.
Serious thing. It's very common.
Isn't it? Huh? You stop liking man.
Like serious.
It ain't just the women. You understand what I'm saying? You believe you got to be half cut and smoking something to be what? Accepted.
Yep.
To stand up amongst your brothers. And I was that dude. I was the dude who wasn't smoking, who wasn't drinking. I ain't saying I ain't never smoke or drink. But I'm just talking about the fact that my friends knew when it was time for them to break up whatever they was breaking up, he ain't want nothing. And this is before I was a pastor. You understand? I saw the ravages of alcohol in my own house. That's why I didn't want nothing. I saw the ravages of smoking in my own neighborhood, so I didn't want none. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, I tried it. I did try it. And I untried it too. But the point I'm making is, we're under attack. We're not seeking salvation. We're seeking acceptance to a failing society, and if you accept acceptance into a failing society, what are you bound to do? Fail. And that's why we're failing. It's not because God is angry at us. It's not because the universe is upset with us. It's because we keep accepting a failing way. And to keep accepting a failing way over and over again and expecting not to fail is insanity. You understand? And so, Cain and Achlamiah, they don't tell you about Achlamiah in Genesis, but in the battle sheet they tell you about Achlamiah. They decided that they were going to go along with this plan of Nakash. They weren't talking to a snake. They were talking to a humanoid reptilian.
Yes.
And this humanoid reptilian guided them along a path where they thought that they were going to be doing so well. And this is the state of our country today. We believe that all we have to do is follow our brothers to the north, our sisters to the north. We believe if we act more British, we'll have more of what the British have. You understand? We believe that if our grammar and our pronunciation and our English is on point, that we somehow are going to be just like them. And that's never the case.
Never.
You better love your African self. You better love that which the Most High gave you to begin with.
Yeah.
I end today in one of our original books of the Bible, the Istanjil. The 58th verse, the 3rd scroll. Because we need to understand why atonism is here in this day and time. Verse 58 of the Istanjil says, Ismail Rabbi Khalid will Kareem, surely out of chaos must come order. Which is why atonism shall arise once more during the latter day. You see, when we put the weave and the bleach and the alcohol and the... Remember when they were smoking beanie? Remember when they were smoking beanie?
Working drug.
They didn't know that that was actually created in the countries where it came from to kill the sperm cell of the men that was smoking it. They didn't find another way to do that now. They got you wearing skinny jeans.
My Lord.
Skinny jeans to squeeze everything. And then squeezing everything, your sperm count is dropped.
That's right.
Somebody wants you not to reproduce. Somebody doesn't want you to understand. We talk about energy in Papyrus 1 of the original books of the Bible. When you take on the energies of other people, you add that into the formula of who and what you are, and that disrupts or disturbs your peace.
That's right.
So that's why this church is here. This church that people have different things to say about. Some people love it, some people hate it, some people are indifferent. But this church is here because we understand that out of chaos there must come order. It says, hear these words, verse 58 of the Istanjil, scroll 3. Hear these words, O humanity, for in the latter day there shall rise a group of Hyksos, or priests of Zeus. So we just talked about the devil being cast out of heaven and ended up where? In church, as your pastor, as your deacon, as your board member, as your doctor, as your teacher. Not me saying it. 2 Corinthians chapter 11, 13 through 15. They came before this as the Hyksos, as the priests of Zeus, whose high priest shall possess false man-made credentials. So they got all kind of reverend doctor, cardinal, priests, Pope. Everybody got a staff on a rod. But which one is the staff? Which one is the rod? Which one is the Pope? Which one is the bishop? No? We as African people should want to know what that means for us.
That's right.
How could the same person who beat you over your head for 400 plus years all of a sudden turn around and give you the religion that you need to get to salvation? They didn't give you the best environment to live in.
No.
They didn't give you the best food. They didn't give you the best clothes. They didn't give you the best education. But you think they gave you the best religion? You think they gave you salvation? These high priests came possessing false man-made credentials which they shall utilize to falsely claim for themselves the rites of initiation which they have not completed nor received through exposure, yet do claim a spiritual covenant which belongs not to them. The Messiah said, you are of your father, the devil. The Messiah said in Revelation 2:9 and 3:9, you are the synagogues of Satan. This ain't me saying it. You say you love Jesus so much, but why you can't say what Jesus said? Why you can't say what the Messiah, Yahshua Christ, actually said? He called them devils. He called them the synagogues of Satan. Ain't me saying it. Huh? And he had to say that because these people were trying to steal your covenant. They were trying to steal your birthright. They were literally coming in and trying to take that which belongs to you. Huh? You ever heard people round over a will? Yes, everyone, right? Mommy leave you $1 million, but this outside child come in and talk about. Half, they want all? Huh? They want all. They want to pretend as if they're the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Yehuda, when in fact they are instead Jebusites of the dynasty of Canaanite Anakites who do lie. Messiah said that he was a liar from the beginning, John 8:44. Huh? The truth is not in you. Surely they and those like them who claim the glory of the chosen seed of Ishmael, Israel, and Midiani amongst the Nubian Mennonite family shall be brought down to a lowly state at the feet of those who possess the woolly-haired gene of the guardian angelic host. What they're not telling you is, they are telling us that we're ugly. They're telling us that we're too black. They're telling us that our hair is nappy. They're telling us all these different things. But do you know we're running NASA? Do you know most of the scientists? We're giving our space program to the beast. And every time we have a new young scientist who signs up to be a part of one of these space agencies, we celebrate them. And I'm like, I mean, that's cool. You got a job. I ain't mad at that. But I had to tell my children yesterday, I say, notice that they celebrate us when we're helping them. They don't celebrate us when we're helping us. You understand? Where's the celebration for the young black people who building what we need? Because there are coders and there are scientists and there are engineers who are working on our behalf. But they don't celebrate them. And maybe they shouldn't. We need to celebrate them. You understand what I'm saying? So it goes on to say that we would be the pillars of strength in the latter day. Yet in all these things, remember always that for each child of Ma'at, which is universal order and the balancement of deeds, each child of Ma'at that is born, so too shall a child of Isfut, universal order and the balancement and universal disorder and the chaotic disharmony, be also born, whereby you shall need cryptic talismans of protection to guard you against those who work by way of the lies of Apepzuin, being the synagogue of Apophis, seeking to break the spiritual bond which all atonists shall have, when in fact soulful bonds, this is key. And this is important because we have children in this Kanisa, those who are a part of the Kanisa, those who are visiting the Kanisa. We have to be mindful. Scriptures are telling us each child is born, one is a child of Ma'at, and one is a child of chaos, Israel. How do we ensure that these children are not born of isfut or chaos. You have to give them the proper rituals and the proper rites to protect them. You have to give them a way of life. Teach them to love their hair. Teach them to love their skin. Teach them to love who they are. Stop running to everybody else to look for your salvation. And then when they send them back to you, what they send them back? A bunch of demons. We don't send them there as demons. We send them off to school at 5 years old. And they, by the time as they, now you can't even say high school. You go to these primary schools today and the children are upside down. Why? It ain't because the teachers. It ain't because the principals. It ain't because of Glennis Hanna Martin, the Minister of Education. It's the system that we have to be aware of. Dr. Amos Wilson said that we as a people, when we're looking for what's wrong with our families, we go automatically to mommy, daddy, brother, sister. We don't ever stop and look at the system. So the system is sick. We think that the system is neutral. The system is sick. The system is teaching us to hate ourselves, to seek acceptance from a failing world. What you going to say, Allah?
He was going to ask, he said, it's the system, but the parents that not with the system, like I think you know me, but like my house,
right?
Certain things ain't gonna happen. Don't care what the child say. Don't care what it ain't gonna happen.
Yes.
It's either with me or you. I'm sure it's gonna be them.
Right.
So, yeah. So, how you can blame the system? Because okay, like for instance, with Kayla, when she goes to school, that what she do in school? At school, you know, because sometimes she would get a little. I know where it's coming from still, but sometimes she get a little
attitude.
Yeah.
Yep.
When she talking like, you know, she see her hands. I say, wait a minute now, who you talking to flinging your hands like that? Cause
exactly.
either you pop them out or you put them in your pocket.
Right.
But don't try that.
It's not a matter of blame. It's a matter of cause.
Yeah.
The original books of the Bible talks about a cause before the effect.
But
So,
they know, because like all my kids and my nephews, them, they do that. They don't try that with me.
Right.
But I see like
But
most
why?
siblings or
But why?
because I ain't tolerate
Because
it.
you have a system. You have a system to buck the system.
Yeah.
There are parents who want to do what you're doing, who want to do what we're doing, but they don't have this system. So they end up bucking the children. And now the house in chaos because I don't know what's wrong with y'all. Y'all ain't got no manners. Y'all just disrespectful. But if you keep giving the child sugary cereal, just using the diet now as an example, right? And sugary snacks, you can't get mad when the child have diabetes. True. You trying to feed the child the best way you know how because why? The system told you that you're supposed to give the child cow's milk.
Yeah.
And then the child have asthma. That's why I say it's the system. Not because we don't have control. We have control if we are accepted into this system which has been put in place by the Naturi Elohim. If we live this way of life, then we can overcome their system because this is what it says here. We end in here. It says, the soulful bonds that we have as atonists, right, which are based off of clear evidence, are not subject to their limited physical powers of destruction. If you live your way of life, there's nothing they can do to you.
Right.
If you accept salvation, then accepting the failure is not an issue. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so, at this point in time in our dispensation, you know, as we bringing in the hair that have all the energy of these mothers and these wives and these daughters, they cut men's hair too. They don't always cut it from the hair.
Nope. Nope.
Because they showed them on the documentary, the woman was selling hair, but all the hair was on her head.
Yeah.
That's what they weaving and putting in people's hair.
I see guys putting shoe polish in their hair too.
Guys putting shoe polish in their hair.
Selling.
You understand? So at the end of the day, if we choose to live a way of life that allows for us to ultimately have a system that bucks the system, there's nothing they can do to us. But it's up to us to choose it. Choose salvation or just choose to be accepted. When you accept something, you just take whatever people give to you. And that's what we've been doing. Now we say, Amun, Master.
So one more quick question.
Let's start this camera from the lift. Thank you all very much. Go ahead, Elder.
The title, salvation or acceptance, right? So if you're accepting, I think I was doing some reading. It says soteriology is the study of salvation.
Right.
So to be accepted is you're putting it in their type